Me today on such a beautiful sunny day. So we'll try to keep to the time as best as we can. Today we got a really interesting and exciting presentation for you. Today what we're going to be doing is we'll be focusing on, I'll give you a little bit of a tutorial just to make sure you know how to use Cookidoo and using it to its maximum potential, and also go through a really nice summer kind of pasta dish that is great served either warm or cold. So we've had it this week both ways, and it's delicious both ways, which is great. My name's Kim. I've been with Thermomix since, let me think, since November, December of last year. I was introduced to Thermomix when I lived in Australia. So I lived in Australia for 12 years. And in Australia, it was very popular. Everyone owned a Thermomix. I'd go to my mother's group, for example, everyone was talking about how great the Thermomix was, how great it was to make all their baby food and all that type of thing, and how it was amazing. I have a 6-year-old son, and he's got quite a few allergies, so namely the peanut, tree nuts, and also he's got a sesame allergy. So that created a lot of problems, and he also had really bad eczema when he was a baby. So I was finding it really hard to even feed him anything. So it was when one of my friends said, well, you know what, you really need to try the Thermomix because you can make whatever you want and you know exactly what's going to be in it. Because for me, I found sesame was the hardest. There's so much hidden sesame in everything. So that's what kind of got me introduced to it. And I've been making all my son's food when he was a baby, when he was a toddler. It really helped him kind of progress out of his severe eczema, which was great. And also he was allergic to eggs also as a child, as a baby. And so we were on a program in order to kind of increase his tolerance to egg very slowly. So I started out with 1/4 of egg white and then kind of increased it. And the only way I could do that was making everything myself. And that's where the Thermomix really came in handy. So that's kind of my introduction. I moved back to Canada about 2 years ago and didn't buy a single appliance because I knew that I was going to buy this baby. Because this one kind of drives our kitchen. We don't have much else in terms of other appliances because this one can do practically anything. It has over 22 functions, and we'll go through some of those today. And I think also the important thing to point out is that when I purchased it, or when we got it, it only had 20 functions. So it does keep on growing and developing. And I'll show you kind of what's been added, and even, you know, think about the potential, like what's going to be added in the future. So that's kind of an introduction just to my story. My branch manager, Laura, is online. So if you have any comments or questions or anything along the way, please put them in the chat and she'll be able to answer any questions kind of as we go along. And if there's anything that hasn't been addressed by the time that we're finished, I can try to address your questions. So with that, I am going to try to attempt to master technology, and I'm going to move to another device and try to share my screen and show you the Cookidoo tutorial. Okay, so can everyone see my screen? Okay, so this is Cookidoo, and if you are an owner, you will be familiar with Cookidoo as kind of the brains that kind of drives your TM6. This is the key addition or feature that has been added with the TM6 model. I quite like it because I get access to over 50,000 recipes from all over the world, get to try new things, and also it really helps me on the organization of our week, essentially, in our shopping and that type of thing. So I'll show you. So when you log on, and it's cookidoo.ca, if you can see up here. So what we have is it'll say hello and it welcomes you. And I'm using the computer right now. You can also download it and you can have it as an app on your phone, which is probably more how some people use it, but you can also use it here on the computer. The main landing page, just wanted to point out, there's tons of information because usually people just put in what they're looking for and then like they don't really pay attention to what's below. but there really is a lot of handy information. So all the, so Thermomix has a team of recipe developers from all over the world. So when they have new recipes that are released, they really do feature them kind of just below in the latest recipes. And this is where you might get some inspiration in order to, try something new, for example. And you can always say see more, and then you see a lot more recipes. Here it tells you, your recipes come in many languages. So just remember, if you do have, English isn't your first language, or if you speak more than one language, you can definitely do recipes in other languages from the other country platforms. The great thing about Thermomix is that we actually have access, or with the Cookidoo subscription, you have access to, I think it's over about 13 or 14 different country platforms. So if you're looking for something that's Mexican food, for example, you can definitely, go to that. Spanish. There's also Polish. Like you name it, it's there. I know Malaysia, like the Malaysian platform, is quite popular as well. So that's a really great one. And here it shows some other ones: Portuguese, Czech, Italian, Netherlands, Polish. Down here. So the nice thing about your Cookidoo subscription is that you no longer have to buy any cookbooks, but you still have access to over 50,000 recipes, and it keeps on growing. So they, the recipe developers, they release cooking collections. So that would be kind of the replacement. Now, you don't have a cookbook, you have a cooking collection. So when you want to look for something in particular, you can look by just looking at the types of collections that are on offer. So right now we have the promotion with the pudding molds. So obviously you're going to see a lot of collections coming up for desserts and buns, cakes, and that type of thing in order to use your new accessories. There's also some videos that help you out, and there's also kind of this discover. So what I'm going to do is just show you in the collection section how you can actually review, select, and even create your own collections. So what I'm doing here is I'm seeing more. And here you see it's given me collections, and the filters are applied. So I'm seeing Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, United States, and I've got 478 results of collections that you can pick from. You see here, it's a wide array of anything that you could probably think of. They usually release collections around kind of special occasions and that type of thing. Here we had the Heston Q as a promotion a few months ago. There you can see there's a cooking collection to utilize that and to get the full potential. So if you wanted to, so let's go into, for example, and if you wanted to take filters off or put them on, you can just hit the filters and say you only want a soup, or say you're looking for something. You can expand here and you have all these other categories that you can look for, types of recipes. Other filters, for example, actually. So if you only want to find like a TM6, if you have a TM31, because the TM31 has a different capacity than the TM5 or 6, you could just search for that. I've got Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, United States. But if I wanted to, I don't want to cook an imperial, I can switch that off and it'll change my results. I can also search, as you see here, all the different countries that we have access to the platforms. So as you can see, there is quite a selection here. So I can say show 345. So I've taken off the US because I don't want to cook in metric. So let's click into one of the collections. And this will show every recipe. So we have 8 recipes in this cooking collection. I could just save the entire collection, and now that's going to be available on my TM6. So when I go to my into my kitchen, so I could be at work, for example, I could be kind of surfing the internet, that type of thing, and I can say, you know what, on the weekend I really want to make a bundt cake, so I could save it, and then it's there for me when I want to cook it, and I'll show you how we do that later. Or the other thing you can do is you can see these 3 little dots here. There's a lot of options that come up. So this is when I was talking about how Cookidoo is really great for the weekly kind of menu planning that you want to do. So I can say, you know what, I think I'm going to cook that today. And that would automatically go to my calendar view and would cook it today. There is a section called bookmarks. So these are the things that you might cook on a regular basis. So you can bookmark, and it makes it just a little bit easier to find when you're going through when you're on your TM6. Or you can say add to collection. So maybe I don't want all of these recipes. I just want the one. So what I could do is I could say add to collection. And I can create my own collection, say, of desserts I want to try or something like that. Or I could add it to a week. It doesn't have to be today. I can add it to any day of the week, and it gives you a calendar view, which I can show you that. So let's go here. So say I'm going to make it on Friday. I've got a day off next week, so I'm going to make it on Friday. So I'm going to save it, and it's going to show up. So there you go. It's saved to my July 31st. Now, let's maybe try something else. I'm just going to hit back. Maybe I feel like, let's go into the street food, for example. So here's something like prawn and mushroom crepes, pork gyoza and soy dipping sauce, meatball subs, Korean barbecue with chicken rice. That looks like a good one. So let's, oh, that's off my screen. Let me just try this out. So let's try to add to a collection. So what this is I can add to a collection, and here are ones that I've already created for that are available to me. So these are ones that I've made specifically. So my friend Tony, I went to her house and showed her, how to use the TM6. Did an in-person cooking experience back in the day when we could do that. So that was hers. Salads. This is, one that whenever I kind of see a salad or interested. So whenever I kind of see something that's interesting, I kind of put it in that one. So let's maybe put this in interested. There, collection is safely updated, which is great. And another thing you might have seen, so my husband, he loves dumplings. So let's add to the collection, and I'm going to add it to my husband. So he has a selection of recipes that he wants to try, or he wants me to try. So, or let's say, add to collection, let's create. Let's create a collection and call it try now. Hit save, and there we go. And I'll show you how that actually shows up now on my view. So that kind of shows you kind of how to navigate, how to create your own collection. I'm just going to flip to you up here. It says my week. So my week, I have things. This is like the planning that I was telling you about. So tomorrow, actually, chicken caprese pasta salad. You know what? I think I'm going to move to it another day. I'm going to cook it today instead. Let's save that, and it moves it to today. So now when I go onto my machine, when I go into my weekly view, it'll come up and it'll be an easier one to find. What you can do, and I really love this function with Cookidoo, is I can create a shopping list. So this recipe, let's add shopping list. So here we go. I can see my shopping list has been created. Let's go and show ingredients. I'm about to go to the store. So let's see what we have. And there's two views that you get by category, where it groups it kind of by type of item or ingredient, but it also does it by recipe. So if I decide, you know what, today we're not going to make strawberry daiquiris, let's just remove that recipe, and it removes it automatically. So I can go through my pantry, and I was like, you know what, I've already got focacciini, I've already got boiling water, I've got some pasta, I've got olive oil, I need some basil, need some garlic, pepper, don't need pine nuts. My son's allergic to nuts, so I'm going to take that off, and instead I'm going to put 20 grams of sunflower seeds. I'm going to add that. So there you can actually add your own items, and while I'm there, you know what? We need some toilet paper, and I also need some Lysol wipes. So you can actually add other things that aren't kind of food specific. You can make it your own shopping list. And what I do is when I'm at the store, I actually go through, it's like, oh, there's my tomatoes, and I check it off my list. Oh, there's a chicken breast, and I check it off my list. So there you can, I actually use it live when I'm in the grocery store on my phone, because anything that you do here on the computer will also show up on the app that's on your phone. Now, I'm done my shopping list. Now what am I gonna do? So let's, options. I can either print it, so I can put it into hard copy, or I can share it. So because I'm on the computer, this will have it copy, and I can put it into an email. On my phone, it'll give me the option to either put it into an email, like it does here, or I can send a text message to myself or to someone that's doing my shopping. It's usually my husband. So there you can see that those kind of options there. So again, it just depends how you like to see it. You can view it by kind of section of the grocery store or by recipe. Did want to show you my week again. So here you go, as you can see. This is our week planned out, what we're going to be eating. So here's some recipes and that type of thing. So if I want to do a shop for the entire week, I would just add to shopping list, add to shopping list, add to shopping list. And go here, show ingredients. I can do it again by recipe, or it aggregates it across all, I guess actually 4 recipes as to what I need. So I think that kind of shows what I wanted to provide to you. And then of course, the most obvious one, which everyone uses, if I have some chicken in my fridge, let's just hit chicken, and there we go. Here are all the recipes. Because we're on the Canadian platform, it defaults to English and French. So if I want to just eliminate, as I was showing you before, let's just take out the French ones, and I have 1,019 results. So here's all the options of things I can do in English with chicken. So this, but you can also kind of like refine it even more. So say I want to do a main dish. It goes down to 548. If it's only going to be for 2 people, you can actually search for how many people. You can search for difficulty, preparation time, total time, how many portions, and then it keeps on refining. I only want to see the 5-star rating recipes, which you can go in and once you've cooked them, you can actually do ratings and you can give them the star ratings. So that kind of shows you how to use Cookidoo. So I don't know if there's been any questions in the comments at all. So that's what I really wanted to show today with the Cookidoo tutorial. So hopefully with that helps you kind of see all of the potential that Cookidoo has and how you really can be using it and how you can find new and exciting types of recipes. So what I might do, and my trusty machine turned itself off. So what I might do is I'll just take you through really quickly what you get with the TM6. Because I know that this session has a combination of, you know, people that have never really experienced a TM6 before, some people that may have a TM5 and thinking about a TM6, and also some pretty savvy TM6 owners themselves. So just bear with me for a moment while I get everyone else up to speed. So here is the first item that's new with the TM6. This is the splash guard. So you use this on the high heat function, which is one of the new functions that have come with the TM6. So I really like this. This is a really great safety feature that has been added. This is where the magic happens. This is your mixing bowl. So whenever you hear them talking about the mixing bowl, this is it. So this sits on the base, and it has, and I'll show you, has pins in the bottom, and that's what connects inside here in order to do the precision cooking. So the precision cooking is fantastic. It gives you consistent temperature. You can cook everything at one temperature for the entire duration, which is fabulous. So you put that on and it just locks in, which is great. The lid, that hasn't really changed. That's the same. What has changed is the measuring cup. So the measuring cup, it used to fall off, now it doesn't. So it's great when I'm cooking, I can just take it off, flip it, there we go, and it stays on. It's also that it's called the measuring cup because it measures. So it actually has pre-marked 100 mils, 50 mils, that type of thing. And what's nice is that it sits here and it has a little bit of space. It's kind of hard to see on the video, but that's where the steam escapes. So the steam escapes there, which is great. Also, if you're making things like a hollandaise or a mayonnaise, you can actually put the egg whites on the lid and it'll slowly incorporate. So, and it'll emulsify, like when you're trying to make those types of things. So that's the lid and the measuring cup. This is the steamer basket, or sometimes people call it the rice basket. What's different is that it has the lid. What I love about Thermomix is that every attachment or every kind of accessory usually has more than one function. So this is your spatula that you also get. It has been redesigned, and it actually, it's going to be hard for you to see, but it actually has like a smooth kind of lip on it. And that then sits flat on your counter, so you no longer get this part of your spatula, the blade of the spatula, touching your countertop, which is really nice. So you don't have to worry about propping it up or that type of thing. So that's great. But it also has this little hook. This little hook helps us with the steamer basket. It hooks into the little triangle. And then when I'm steaming my grains, rice, that type of thing, I can pour that out and I don't have to get my hands involved and they don't need to get singed. So that's a really nice feature about it. You can also use this as a strainer. You can use it as a basket and for cooking grains, as I was saying. So if you think about like quinoa, for example, you might be wondering, how the heck do all the little beads stay in a strainer? Well, the nice thing about these baskets is that it's German engineered again. So the holes are actually smaller on the inside than they are on the outside. So nothing comes through, like, so nothing escapes, which is really nice. So that's quite clever. I like that about the baskets. As you said, this is the bowl. This is where everything happens. This is the blade. So I'll show you what the blade is. And this is what cooks, it's what dices, it's what slices, it's what mills, it does everything. So here's your blade, and there's a sharp edge and there's a blunt edge. So depending on what you're doing and what you want to achieve, it'll move in one direction or the other. So if it's in reverse, it will be doing more of a stir function. If it's going in the forward direction, depending on the speed that you have on the Thermomix, which goes from 0 up to 10, it will do different things. So if it was kind of around your 5, 6, 7, it could be doing some chopping for you, your onions, your garlic, all that type of thing. If you went higher, it's actually kind of milling or grating, and you'll be seeing that function today. So just wanted to show you that's really the heart in terms of what everything does. And a lot of people ask, you know, how do you clean this and that type of thing? It actually cleans itself, which is quite nice. It's high quality stainless steel. So you don't really need to take the blade out. Not that often. I probably do it, depending on what I'm making, maybe like once a week, once every couple of days. Again, it depends on what I was making. And you can just put the base on and it just slides into position, which is really nice. So, and I tell all my customers, make sure never put your bowl onto this without the base in place and locked. So that's a very important thing to remember. So I think I've done enough talking for now, so maybe we should get to it. So as I was saying, I've added, so this is the display screen and this is the turn dial. So this is the Cookidoo. This is the exact same account that I was using on the computer before or on my phone. And it's like, hello, what would you like to do today? Well, I've got my week and it's just waking up. And there's the pasta salad that I put on just a few minutes ago. So here it is, and it gives you kind of the overview. It always gives you the difficulty, the prep time, the total time, and how many portions. You can preview it. You can see what the ingredients that you need, and it also goes through all the steps if you want to read through it. So that's how, I guess that's where we start. So, and then it has the friendly green button that says, let's start cooking. So let's do it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the grating function. So the first item in the recipe is Parmesan cheese. So I've just got blocks here of fresh Parmesan, and we are going to grind up our own fresh Parmesan for our lovely basil pesto. So I put in, and it also just wanted to show you. So it's asked for 50 grams. I've put in 65 because I like cheese. So it doesn't prevent you from going kind of off recipe, but at least it does tell you where you're at, which is really nice. Hit next. I'm going to put on the lid with the measuring cup. It always, when you're in guided cooking, it always tells you to put the measuring cup in unless you're doing some steaming and you don't need it. So done that, hit next. Now it's going to get a little bit loud because we're grinding, we're grating up some Parmesan. So it's asking, so it's saying turn speed selector to speed 10. So that's what I'm going to do. It's already predetermined that it's going to take about 10 seconds. So that's what I'll do. And I'm going to turn it to 10, and it's going to get a little bit loud. So just brace yourself for a sec. Now, the next thing, this is where it's asking for toasted pine nuts. As I've told you, my son is allergic to nuts, so we don't use pine nuts. Or if you're budget conscious and you know how expensive pine nuts are these days, you may not want to use them. So I'm actually just using some sunflower seeds. Do caution, look at the ingredients to sunflower seeds because sometimes they actually finish them with some peanut oil. So if you are cooking for someone with an allergy, make sure you just check the label on that. So I'm going to put in the same quantity, but it's going to be sunflower seeds instead of the pine nuts. I'm going to put in some fresh basil. It's asking for some fresh basil. We use organic basil in this house. So there's my bowl of nice, you can smell it, it's fresh, it smells like summer, which is great. Put in my basil, 80 grams of virgin olive oil. So I'm going to put in my olive oil there. As you see, it is measuring it as we go. So there's that. 25 grams of lemon juice. So here's my lemon juice that I got 22 grams. Again, Cookidoo doesn't prevent you from going a little bit off, but 1 garlic clove. So there I've got my 1 garlic clove ready. And just want some salt in it. Maybe some fresh salt. Okay, I'm told I'm frozen. So what, you can't see me?
No, you're not. You can go ahead, Kim. We can see.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to do the mixing. So we're going to actually make that, and we're going to make the basil pesto. Okay, so it's asking me turn your speed selector to speed 7. All right, so let's see what we got now. So I hit next. Wants to scrape down this, oops, it's chunky and full of flavor. And I wish you could smell it. It smells just so fresh. Here you can see, there it is. So it just smells really fresh with the fresh basil that's in it, the garlic. Just really, really nice. Smells like an Italian summer, if you ask me. So there, kind of And I think the next step is to put it into a bowl, but let's just see what Cookidoo tells me. What does it say? Oh, it wants me to do it again, actually. That's what it wants to do, just to make sure that we got it adequately mixed up. So let's do that. Number 7 again. So it's just chopping all the ingredients again. Now, if you were fine with it the way that it came out the first time, you could actually just skip the step and it wouldn't hinder the recipe at all. You can skip steps with Cookidoo or with the guided cooking. So yeah, you don't really have to do it as much, but for the sake of the demonstration, let's not go off script, right? So now it's asking me to put it into a separate bowl. And then what we're going to do is we're going to prepare kind of the pasta side of it. And what I'll also do is I'll take you through a few of the other attachments that we haven't talked about yet. And also I'll show you while it's cooking how you can kind of jump around on the machine and also all the other functions that come with it. Because I've said that there's 22 and you're probably wondering, what are these 22 functions? So let's show you exactly what it is. Just gonna try to get it all out. This basil smells and looks delicious. It's pesto. So when my son had diagnosed with the nut allergies, one of our favorite things to have was kind of your chicken basil pesto. So we thought life was over. And then it was good because with a lot of these recipes, they do give you sometimes substitutes, and sunflower seed was always one that you could use as a great substitute. And we actually do a lot of Indian cooking now as well, and we use the sunflower seeds instead of cashews in a butter chicken, for example, and that type of thing. So this just allows us just to try a lot of different things because we can't really go to Indian restaurants anymore because of my son's allergies. So we just do it at home, which is great. All right, so now it's telling me to not wash the bowl. So it wants to get this nice kind of basil flavor into the pasta. So I'll show you here. It's a little bit messy, but there's my nice fresh pesto. So think about it. You could actually just stop. You could actually just stop here on the recipe. And if you want to have a nice pesto for anything, or even like a dip or that type of thing, you could use this just right. Let's put that off to the side. We'll use that in a minute. So it wants the dried pasta. So it is asking for any kind of dried pasta. So whatever you like. My son likes bow ties, so that's what we use in this house. So whatever makes him happy. So let's put the pasta. Put the dried pasta straight in there. It's asking for some boiling water. One of the 22 functions that you get is it's also a kettle. We have a kettle function on the TM6. I've actually just boiled the water beforehand. Probably with the recipe, you'd want to do it before. Unless you had 2 bowls, you could probably switch it out. So it's asking for 1,200 grams. Now here I'm going to use the measure as well. And I think the reason why they're asking for the boiled water is just to kind of expedite the cooking process. It will add heat while we're cooking, but this just helps kind of get the rest of the dish into our bellies a lot quicker. Put that off to the side. Now, this is another attachment that I haven't showed you yet, but I know that this is one that a lot of people are interested in, and it's the Varoma dish. So the Varoma is great because you can fit it. I've got low cabinets, so you gotta. So the Varoma sits on top, and it will steam anything that you have in the basket. It has 3 pieces. So it has the main, this is the Varoma dish. And you see it has kind of the grooves. We are also going to use this as our pasta strainer. So I don't need to get a strainer dirty later on. And then this is the Varoma tray. And then it also has the lid. So here we go. That's how it would be all together when we start cooking. What this does is it steams. So this is called the multi-level cooking, and that's what you have. So you can do lots of things. You can do a soup in the bottom. You can put your rice basket or your steaming basket in. You could do like a grain or a rice, which is steaming that. You could put your protein into kind of the bottom. And then you can also do and use your tray for vegetables. So that's kind of like 4 things you could be doing at once. So that's a huge time saver when it comes to using the Thermomix. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to use it, and we're going to use the 2 levels, but we're going to use it all for the protein, which is chicken. So it is asking me to, actually, did you see what, I don't know if you guys can see it as, it's minus 408 grams because I took something off. So you can just tear. So that just kind of zeroes out your scales, which is good. I have already chopped up my chicken breast and I've pre-seasoned it with the salt and pepper. So I'm just going to put the chicken, and as you see, as I put the chicken in, it's telling me how much I have. And I'm going to evenly distribute it across the dish and the 2 levels so it cooks evenly. So as we're cooking our pasta, we are also steaming our chicken, which is nice and healthy. There's kind of 1 level. I'll show you that. So that's kind of 1 level of chicken. And I'll do the 2nd level on the tray. If you wanted to do like a vegetable, for example, to go with your salad, you want to just maybe to have a steamed veggie on the side, you could, you know, maybe reduce the amount of chicken, maybe put your vegetable on the top here. The great thing is you can do what you want because you're going to be doing this for about 12 minutes. I'm probably going to increase it to about 13 or 14. I'm just a little bit paranoid when it comes to chicken. I want to make sure my chicken's always nicely cooked. I'm just going to go wash my hands for a sec. So there we have the chicken in both levels. I'm going to put the lid on. It's probably going to tell me to do all this, but I've kind of jumped ahead. So there it's telling me to season it. It's distribute the chicken between the tray and the Varoma dish, leaving some holes unobstructed for steam to circulate. That's a really important step. And it's really important to make sure that you have that so you are cooking it and the steam is able to escape. If you see, there's kind of holes everywhere throughout the dish in order for that steam to escape. Aroma, and then now it's automatically given me 11 minutes. As I said, I'm a little bit paranoid, so I can actually increase it. I'm going to do 13. It is going to cook it at a Varoma, which is the steaming function, which is great. If you see here, it's already giving me that it's at 55 degrees Celsius. It's because of the hot water that I put in. So it's already kind of got some temp in there. And if you see, I don't know if you can see this very well, we're going to do speed 1 and reverse. So remember I was saying with the blades, depends on which direction what the blades are going to do for you. This is just going to nicely spin and nicely kind of cook the pasta and not hack it up as if it were a carrot, for example. So let's do that. Let's get that started. Now, it is telling me, while you're waiting for the chicken to cook, how about you go and chop up your tomatoes and your diced mozzarella and put it in your bowl. I've already done that. So magic television. So rather than doing that, I can talk to you guys about some of the other functions. And it is telling me that you can prolong your cooking time by a minute if your chicken or if your pasta isn't cooked to the right kind of what you like to do. I want to show you, and I don't know, I only recently discovered that you can do this. There's 3 little dots at the top of my screen here. when I do that, I can go back to the recipe details, I can go to my scales, or I can cancel the recipe. So that's something that's really good. So let's go to the scales. So while I am cooking, so it asked me to do something, so I can put my bowl on the top of my Varoma, tear it out. There we go, I've got 245. So you can use it to weigh your ingredients while it's actually cooking. So that's another kind of multifunction feature that I wanted to show you. And then at the top, it tells me where I'm at my current cooking. So I'm 11 minutes and 40 seconds left. It's at 75 degrees, going up, it's just gone up to 80. And it's stirring. I can hit that, look, I can cancel out, and I'm back at where I want to be. If I wanted to then, show you guys something else, let's see, there's my bookmark. I can actually navigate around. Let's look, what do I want to make for dessert or that kind of thing. But while I've got your attention for about 11 minutes, let's talk about some of the other things. So there are two other attachments that come with the TM6. This one is a good old standby buddy. This is your butterfly whisk. So you use this for things like your whipped cream, making butter, anything you kind of want to whip up. You can also use this in kind of like your gelato or making things really airy. The famous Dalgona coffees that you've seen. You can use it to make that light and fluffy as well. That just sits on top of the blade. I'll show you. So here, just sits on top there on the blade, and that will then do all your whipping at the speeds. Really important, never go above speed 4 using this, okay? 4 and no more is the golden rule with the butterfly whisk. So what I'll do is I'll just put this down for a sec. So can you see the display? So as you see, I was talking about 22 functions, and you might be wondering, what are all these functions? So scales, so you've got the scale, which is great. The dough function, so you can make bread doughs, you can make pizza doughs. That's one is really popular in our household. 2 minutes of kneading on the dough function is equivalent to 20 minutes of hand kneading. It's fabulous. We can whip up pizza dough for a Friday night pizza night in under 5 minutes and just let it rise, and it's fantastic. It's better than delivery, which is awesome. Turbo is kind of like, it's a really high speed. It would kind of be equivalent to kind of like a pulsating or like really high powered, and it just does it in 1 and 2 second increments. The pre-clean, I told you that the machine cleans itself. So you can actually put just some tap water. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter. Well, it does if you're doing a dough, it should be cold. You can do warm water if it's anything else. You can add like 1 small drop of dish liquid, and you can clean it, or you don't have to use this. It just depends on what you're doing again. If I'm doing chicken, I definitely use the dish liquid. Here's one of my favorite ones, which is the kettle function. So this, you might be wondering, why do I need that? Well, if you have ever done a white tea or a green tea, it doesn't do well if you put water in that's boiled because it's too hot. So this kind of gives it, you can do like 85 degrees, 80 degrees, that type of thing. So you do have precision with that. The blend function, so that is just kind of your blending, your chopping, that kind of thing. Slow cook, so this is a new function with the TM6. A lot of slow cook things. There is an accessory. It doesn't come automatically with your TM6, but it is available for separate purchase. This is called a blade cover. So you can actually put this the same way as we put the butterfly whisk on top of the blade. You would do that. You would do that with the blade as well. And it just kind of sits on there. And so you can do like your slow cooked kind of beef cheeks or anything that you would want to slow cook, and it wouldn't get tangled up in the blades, which is quite nice. And I believe it's up to 8 hours you can do on the slow cook function, which is great. Sous vide, that's another new one, which is fabulous. And again, you would use the blade cover with that. that is like a slow cook, kind of a gentle cooking in a water bath. So salmon, fish, you can do pork. There's a lot of great recipes, and there is a collection specifically for sous vide, the same as there's also a specific collection for slow cook, just to give you some ideas. And then fermentation. Fermentation, you can make your own yogurts. They do say you can do the pizza dough. You can do the proofing with that, with a little bit of water in it. Do recommend putting something that's acidic, whether it's a vinegar or a lemon juice, just so you don't oxidize the blades. Now, this is where, when I got my TM6, it only had 20 functions. This is something that was new that was added at the beginning of this year, which is a rice cooker. So now you can do perfect rice cooking, which is great. And thicken. Thicken is another one. It does have its own, well, most of these have their own cooking collections. Thickening, so hollandaise sauce. You can do a really nice custard. And what it does, it's actually really smart, and it actually gives you the perfect consistency and texture based on the ingredients that you put in. So if sometimes your cream is a little bit cooler or warmer, it might just need to just adjust the time a little bit, which is great. And the exciting thing, look how much space there is left. So I don't know how many other functions are going to come out, but the sky's the limit. And what's really great with having a TM6 and having your Cookidoo account is that you just run software updates, and then you have the latest version of the TM6. So I think that's pretty cool. I really like it. So I know that I'm not going to be out having to buy another appliance anytime soon, and it's just going to keep on adding and adding. So that kind of shows you kind of what the preset functions are. Now, you might be thinking, but I have old family recipes. I want to do my own recipes. What can I do? Well, you can do manual cooking as well. So when you do buy a TM6, you do have a PDF document, and I'll just grab it. And it is Welcome to the World of Thermomix. So if you're trying to figure out how to convert your old family recipes and that type of thing, this is kind of the, this is what would guide you as to what you can do and that type of thing. And so chopping functions, it goes through all the grating. If you want to grate, you know, cabbage or apples or plums, it goes, and it has a lot of tips in it too. So I've just basically printed it out, taken it to Staples and kind of bound it. So I have this available whenever I'm cooking. And even like if I wanted to check, okay, I want to steam some salmon and I'm not going to follow a recipe, I can just kind of look at this as guidance, and it kind of gives me a time frame of what we can do. I think with my mom, what did we do? We did, was it zucchini? No, it was green beans. We were making a dinner. We wanted to steam some green beans. And we're like, well, let's just use the varoma and let's do it. So we just kind of looked it up in here, and we were able to figure out how long to cook it for. So I've gone through, I'm trying to think if I told you all 22 yet. We got mixing, we got boiling, we got steaming, we've got blending, weighing, we've got the heat function, so you don't need to put things in the microwave. You can actually heat things up in your bowl, which is quite nice because you've got the temperature setting. Grinding, whipping, which we talked about, whisking, emulsifying, we talked about, just basic cooking, fermenting, chopping, sauteing, browning, I don't know, rice. Oh yeah, we got the rice, the slow cook, thicken, sous vide. I think I got it. I think that's it. So that sounds like 22, doesn't it? I don't know if anyone was counting. I don't have that many fingers to go through. So we still got 3 minutes. So what else can I tell you? This might be a great opportunity just to tell you about our promotion that we have on right now. So we have a promotion that is over on Monday, so getting quick. It's called the Sweet Deal. For an extra $42, you can also get one of the pudding molds, and also the cupcake holder, and it's kind of a cake holder. I can show you, let me just share my screen. Can you see it? So here you can see, yep. Treat yourself to a sweet deal. Ends on Monday. There's the price. And you can see, and I've seen this on videos. I'm not fortunate enough to have one actually, but it actually has kind of cold packs in it, and it keeps everything cool. You can use it as like a cheese board. So again, because it's Thermomix, everything has more than one function. So that's really great. So that is, and here it tells you, so you have the extra value. You can put the pudding molds into the Varoma to make your amazing steamed puddings. There is that collection that would help you kind of think of new ways in order to use it. The thermal cake holder has space for 2 cupcake trays, up to 24 cupcakes, and the serving dish has also removable hidden ice packs. So it's great to keep your desserts cool. And the serving dish can be used on its own as a dessert or cheese tray. So it's perfect. I know one thing I haven't showed you yet. There's just so many things. So this is also part of an additional accessory that you can purchase or you can earn for free. So there are some promotions where, so right now, if you host one of these kind of virtual cooking experiences, you can, and someone purchases at your cooking experience, you can get this. And you're thinking about, what is this? Well, it keeps things hot and it keeps things cold, and it's excellent. And it's great for traveling and taking something like this to like a picnic, when we can do those again. So this is what a thermoserve bowl is. So if you're interested and you think you're gonna buy a TM6, this is something that's really great. Get in touch with me, or if you have your own consultant, get in touch with them, and they can help you earn one of these for free, and that's only until the end of this month as well. So that's the thermoserve bowl. I use that quite a bit with the risotto. It helps kind of thicken the risotto and that type of thing. What's really great is I can make my risotto at 4 o'clock and we don't eat till 6. Well, it's going to be just as hot at 6 o'clock as it was at 4. So that's really good. All right, so you can hear the ringing bells, and let's hit, so it's saying it's done. Let's click next. So it's telling us to add the cherries, tomatoes, and the, so let's remove the chicken from the Varoma. So this is something that's important always when you're taking the lids off, and that's turn it away from you so you don't get steam in your face, right? So this is the lid, and as I said, everything with Thermomix has more than one function. I'm actually going to put this on my counter and put the Varoma dish on this and carry it over to the sink, and I don't get any drippings, which is really great. Let me just do that. And take this off. Chicken looks nice and cooked. I don't know if you can, maybe not. I'll show you in a sec once I successfully remove this. Let's see what it's telling me to do. So I need to add the chicken to the bowl with the pesto and basically start assembling. And then once the Varoma dish is empty, I am going to then use my Varoma dish as my strainer. So I'm probably going to do what they probably recommend you never do, which is change my angle. So let's see how this goes. Let's see. So here's the rest of my kitchen. So let's see. Can you see my sink? There we go. Good thing I got cleaned. All right. I'm going to bring it over. So I'm just going to put the chicken, and I'm going to combine it with the tomato, the pesto, the chicken into, let's see if you can see me. There we go. My production staff will tell me if I'm not at a good angle. Actually, I should probably grab my spatula to get all the chicken out. So here, this is what we're just going to be combining. So there's the chicken. that in here. You see here, I moved this over, which is great, and I don't have any chicken drippings all over my floor. Putting the chicken in, breaking it up. Just gonna rinse this out. I'm gonna do a quick little. Now you can see even this has come clean perfectly, which is great. So I think next, yeah. So here I'm bringing over the pasta. So we will assemble this all. I'm taking the lid off. Here you can see the pasta has cooked. I'm going to use my Varoma as my strainer. So let's just get that all out. Okay. It's all out there. I am going to shake it a little bit. You can see me shaking it. Let's get the excess water out while that's kind of draining. I'm going to add my yummy freshly made basil pesto. I'm going to put a little bit first, and then I am going to put some tomatoes in. I am going to put some of my cheese in actually. Kind of just do like half and half, just so it kind of incorporates all throughout the dish, which is nice. Put the rest of the basil. Yeah, I wish you could smell it here. You can really, like the basil is just so fresh smelling and really combines nicely. And then when you have the heat, it actually kind of like, it just gets into the air, which is really nice. So here we go, just gonna mix it around with my trusty spatula. Let it incorporate. So as I said at the beginning, this is a great dish for summer. It's a nice, light, warm pasta, which you can make for dinner, for example. And then you can have the leftovers and you can have the colds for lunch, which is great. So this week, we've actually done that. So, and because it's pesto, this house loves it. So there we go. So let me, so I've just mixed it around. I'll show you what the finished product looks like. There you can see it. So that's great. So we'll probably eat this one warm for lunch and then have some later on. Or if you were gonna make it the night before, you could always do that, kind of let it cool down and then take it to your picnic or whatever you want. So here is the inside of the dish. So as I said, it can just be tap water, so that's all I'm doing. I'm just putting in my water. And not to kind of cover the blade. There we go. For this one, I am going to use a little bit of dish liquid. This has some of the basil in it, so I just do kind of a little tiny drop. That's it. Got the oil in it. Put my lid, which you can see how dirty that is. Where's my measuring cup's over there. So again, I'm going to do another transition and show you, as my production staff tells me if I'm okay again, I'm going to show you the cleaning function. So we say finish, we're done. So there's two ways, but let me show you the pre-clean function. So here we go, pre-clean. It automatically starts at 5, but what it does is it analyzes how dirty the blades are and how dirty your bowl is, and it'll adjust. So all I have to do is put it on the base and turn it on. Now I can do whatever I want while it's cleaning, which is great. So why don't I show you the last part? So you can watch that while it's cleaning and listen to me. I'll share my screen again while it's cleaning, and it'll tell me when it's clean. So you might be wondering now, okay, so you've shown me all this, now what? Well, as you know, the promotion, that's on until Monday. So make sure you get in if that's what you'd like to do. You might be wondering, how do you order? So you will be getting a thank you for coming. And you can order it through a consultant if you already have one, or you'll have a link which can show who your consultant is. So mine is 405. So through here, and book a demo, that kind of thing. And you can say buy now, you can go shopping. And this is where you would do it. If you wanted to get the sweet deal, the bundle, you select this one.
Kim?
As of Monday, it'll be done.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
I think it's because of the cleaning.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. So as you can tell, that wasn't 5 minutes. You can hear me now?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, great. All right, so it's telling me that it's done, which is great. So let me just go to my sink. I'll just dump out the water and I'll bring it back so you can see it. And a little rinse as well. Okay. So it is done cleaning. Let me stop sharing so you can see it. There you go. It's clean. So that's that brings us to the end of the presentation. Sorry, I went a little bit over. I really did try to stick to the time. And if you have any questions, please put them in. If you don't have a consultant, please leave your email address below if you haven't registered through the Eventbrite link. And I'll leave it with that. Thank you everyone for attending, and I hope you get to go out and enjoy what's left of a beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.